And welcome to another evening here on our YouTube channel with us on the wisdom of Kabbalah. Now, if you're new to the channel, you can go to Kabbalah.info and check out what the wisdom of authentic Kabbalah is. And if you're interested in listening to what the wisdom of Kabbalah is on our YouTube channel, you'll find semester 1, 2, 3. That'll give you a foundation and a fundamental of all the topics of what authentic Kabbalah is all about. And beyond that, if you feel like studying with like-minded people, you can always go to Kabbalah.info and join the KABU Academy there. And you'll find a lot of people all around the world, probably in a city near you as well, who are studying this authentic wisdom. In the interim, we're carrying on, as usual, what we do every Tuesday evening. So we're going to carry on with the topic, overcoming the burdening of the heart. And we're on excerpt number 3. The link should have been shared with everyone on YouTube in any case, if you're interested in following through. As usual, if you have any questions, shoot them through. We'll do our best to find solutions from the articles of the Kabbalists. So this is Rabash, article number 20. Excerpt from the article, What is Half a Shekel in the Work, number 2. Through the hardening of the heart, the lack appears sufficiently, and the Creator knows when the measure is sufficient, when the kli is completed. Therefore, sometimes a person escapes the campaign when he sees that he has already prayed a lot in his opinion, but the Creator does not notice him. Therefore, he says that the Creator does not want to answer him, and therefore he runs. And yet a person must always overcome. All right, so let's read that again. Through the hardening of the heart, the lack appears sufficiently, and the Creator knows when the measure is sufficient, when the kli is completed. So it's like our life, right? Without putting some exertion, without giving something a lot of effort, we don't really come to a full measure. We don't come to that tipping point where we can actually go to the next level. So if we want to advance in spirituality, we need to be patient. Just like in life, we have to be patient. Sometimes we want to grow up fast as kids, right? Children want to grow up fast, become grown-ups fast. But you guys know, I know, everybody knows that it takes days, months, years until we grow up. So in spirituality, it's no different in life. It's a whole new different approach to life, according to the wisdom of Kabbalah. So as we study always, we're trying to change our nature from egoism, from self-reception, to a complete opposite state, which is bestowal and the love of others, so that we can see reality from a different perception. And in order to change our current nature into something different, into something more exalted or higher, it's obviously going to take time, just like a kid's nature settles down and becomes mature over years as the child grows up. So for us as well, in order for us to come to a certain degree, a certain desire to bestow, a certain amount of effort and exertion is necessary, obviously. Therefore, sometimes a person escapes the campaign when he sees that he has already prayed a lot in his opinion, but the Creator does not notice him. Well, this is the same thing as us giving up in life when we're going after something, right? We want to become something, or we want to get something done, and we do something and we give a lot of effort to it. And then there comes a point where we think to ourselves, no, it's not worth it. I'm not going to do it anymore. Okay. And what do? We give up. We give up on those aspirations that we had before. Okay. Well, same thing happens in spirituality as well. So a lot of people, they want to attain something. They want this higher level of understanding, perception, a whole new spiritual sensation, something beyond our corporal reality. At first, it's very attractive, and we're kind of drawn to it. We want to attain it, want to go there, get it. And we're kind of bored with this life here in our corporal reality, because we see that it's a no-win game here. At the end of the day, you're left with nothing and you die. So we understand that, life hasn't got much to offer. So all of a sudden, studying the wisdom of Kabbalah and understanding what it does offer, a higher level of existence and a different perception, it's already very attractive. However, though, we need to understand that this attractiveness does have some kind of effort and work that we need to put into it. Just like in life, everything has a price. Okay, and same here. So a lot of people give a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of exertion, and over time they feel like it's not working out for them, and they say, well, the creator doesn't seem to care about my efforts. Okay, like I said, we do the same thing in corporeal reality as well. We do a lot of work, and then we say to ourselves, you know what, it's not worth it. I'm just not going to pursue this anymore. Right? It's the same logic, same mentality. Therefore, he says that the creator does not want to answer him, and therefore he runs, and yet a person must always overcome. So in this situation, which is quite normal, right? Because in our life, it's normal as well. It's a natural state where we give a lot of effort, and obviously we want some feedback. We want some kind of compensation for all the effort that we're doing, right? So when a person doesn't see that, he's not getting anything, he should still carry on. Okay, that's the recommendation of the Kabbalists. And well, it's the same thing with anything, because if I really want to get something in life, and if I pursue it, give it everything I've got, at the end of the day, I should be successful if I'm doing my work correctly. Okay, if I'm focused, if I'm giving a lot of systematic effort, if I'm constantly working on improving and taking steps to move forward towards that goal, I should also attain it. In corporeality, it's the same thing, same in spirituality. Right? So if a person is giving up, obviously they've done something along the track. Maybe they haven't focused correctly, or maybe some things take time. Not every person in life is the same. Sometimes we see children that some kids grasp things really quickly, don't they? They grasp stuff and they understand it, and they can apply it and get things done quickly. And it takes other children a longer time, and that's normal and it's fine. In spirituality also, it all depends on that person's ability to pursue that goal and not to give up. Therefore, he says that the creator does not want to answer him, and therefore he runs. And yet a person must always overcome. So despite whatever the situation is, actually, a good way to approach it is actually not to expect anything from the creator, but just do the work and allow the creator to do things when he thinks it's fit, rather than when I think it's fit. Okay, that makes sense. So that's the kind of attitude. If a person's constantly working and then he gives the creator the room to do what the creator thinks is good, and not what I think that the creator should do, then things actually work out much better. Article number 4. Why has the creator hardened man's heart, and he cannot win the war against the inclination by himself? The answer is, so man will cry out to the creator, and by that will have the kli. Let's read it again as usual. We're reading it twice. Why has the creator hardened man's heart, and he cannot win the war against the inclination by himself? If children could do things immediately, right off the bat, we would never have a connection with our children, because they wouldn't need us. Okay. And therefore they just go do things on their own, and we'd never probably see them again. Okay. So the creator's objective is a bit different. He wants to have a connection with us. And just like in life as well, when our kids can't do things, or they're not able to get the things they want, they tell us, right? They drag us along. They tell us what they want, how they feel, and why they should, we should buy certain things that they want to them. So same here with the creator. This is how we connect with our children. So they're kind of wanting things, right? They're a vessel, a desire to receive. And what are we? We're bestowing according to their desire, if we feel that it's a correct desire. We're not buying the kids everything and anything they want. Okay? We're just making sure that it's suitable for the age, for the kid's capacity, and so on. And then we can, evaluate it and then buy him something, or help him in some way that he can actually realize something that's fit for his age. Well, the same thing with the creator. So the Creator has to give us some hardening. Just like in life, as we grow older, life becomes tougher. It doesn't get any easier. When we're kids, it's a far more easier, isn't it? Because, well, we don't really know, first of all, what life is about. So all we do is run around and play games, okay? But as we get older, we go to school, people start to expect more responsibility from us. They want us to do our homework, tidy up our room. All of a sudden, life becomes more demanding from us as we grow up. So it gets a little harder and harder. And then especially we've got to go out there on our own, work, and, make our own life kind of thing. Well, same here. If we want to build a spiritual life for ourselves, as we advance more and more on our spiritual path, we should expect that it's going to get a little tougher, right? Okay? Laws of nature, right? It's going to get a little tougher. So this is why. Why? And then the person can actually develop a desire to connect with the Creator. The person can actually turn to the Creator. The person can actually turn. What does it mean to really turn to the Creator as well? If we want to attain something, the first thing we do is, grow that desire. Don't we do it? We think about it, we look at things, we research it. Which one should I buy? Which one is the better one? Is it like, think about it when you're buying something for yourself. We're always trying to pick the best one. So initially, we just have a desire to do something. And same here as well. We just have a desire to attain spirituality. It's an egoistic desire as well. However, it's the right kind of inclination towards the Creator. So as we move forward, we understand that changing our nature, or becoming something that really is not in me, is not an easy job. Okay, so then what do we have to do? Well, we have to get help from somewhere. So turning to the Creator is actually me understanding that there are certain things that are beyond my capacity. And that understanding, with the desire to still change, is turning to the Creator. Does that make sense? The Creator is out there, but we don't feel Him, right? We just have a desire. So the Creator wants to fulfill the desire, just like we want to fulfill our children. But we have to ask for the right thing for the Creator to fulfill us, okay? If I've got a 5-year-old and he wants a gun, a real gun, I'm not going to get that to him. I'm not even going to give him a toy one, let alone a real one, okay? It's just not going to happen, okay? Why? Because his desire is incorrect. So he's at his 5, let's say, and he's going to start crying, but I want it, the usual routine. Throwing himself onto the floor, rolling around, mopping the floor and crying and saying, I want it, but he's not going to get it. Well, our relationship with the Creator is the same thing. If I don't have the right desire for the right reasons, then I'm not going to get an answer. So crying about it and throwing myself from one corner of the living room to the other is really not going to solve the problem. So here, what do we have to do? Well, we have to turn inside all the time as we study to really clarify what I want and why I want it, why I need it. In order for me to clarify that inner state, I need to be in touch in an environment, I need to be in touch with an environment where I'm working to attain what I want to attain, that I'm studying, so that I can see the places where I'm unable to move forward. This is why, on the one hand, I have to exert, make some effort, work. Then I have to see what I need to change, then work on those changes and clarify why I need to change. And then I'll need to also see that I can't change my own nature. And then I desire to change my own nature with the inability to do so, right, is what's turning to the Creator. Turn to the Creator. Right? We don't have to turn to the Creator with words. We turn to the Creator with a desire, because that's what we are, a desire to receive pleasure. Right? So we just want to turn with the right desire. And if we build that right desire, that's the desire He's going to fulfill. So as we move forward, He needs to harden our heart so that we see that we cannot overcome our inclination. And then we can turn to the Creator, which means that I really want to change for the right reasons. This is why our whole work is always called inner work. It's something I'm always doing inside of me, clarifying my desire, my intentions, and how I need to work with them, what I can do with them, and if there's something I can't do, how I need to turn to the Creator. We all good? We all good. Ingrid's asking, should one always cling to the Creator or distance eventually? Because our kids eventually distance themselves because they don't need us. Well, that's right. As soon as they don't need us, it's hasta la vista, right? What can you do? However, though, until we, well, think of it this way, right? On the one hand, they distance themselves, right? But when they become parents themselves, we have a new page relationship with them, don't we? Okay, because all of a sudden they understand what you did for them, how you took care of them, and they actually begin to appreciate the parents when they become parents themselves. So they need to take and fly out of the nest, that's for sure. Okay, they have to do that because it's their own life, and they have to go out there and stand on their own 2 feet and, live their life, and that's fine. With us as well, as we grow up, we're also, on the one hand, we're growing spiritually, becoming more independent, but also our connection to the Creator is also increasing because our connection to love and bestowal is increasing. Now, in our world, we're in an egoistic nature. So as we grow up, we want to be free. Okay, we want to be free on our own, and we want to go and do whatever we want to do. But in spirituality, when you grow up, you're growing in the attributes of love and bestowal. You don't want to be free. You want to be actually serving others all the time because that's growth. Okay, that's what you understand growth to be. Being more connected, more bestowing, and more being together. Right? But in this life, we don't really appreciate that. Everybody wants to go their own sweet way. Everybody wants to spark, but nobody wants to get burnt. Right? What can I tell you? Okay, but spirituality, we have to think otherwise. Our connection with the Creator is tighter and tighter and tighter, and we begin to appreciate that. Okay. Oh, where are we? Number 5. Number 5. Irina, is your hands up? Did you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question about desires. Like you said, we have to address to the right desires to the Creator. As I understand, the right desire is only one. We want to connect in order to adhere to the Creator. So, what are we talking about? Desires? Like it's only one desire, and then we're still talking about many desires that we have to. Everyone has different desire, and we have to get into one desire. Like, what is this exactly? I have to have one desire if we have the same desire.
Yes, good question. This is what we clarify all the time. What is that desire to bestow like the Creator? At the end of the day, we have like how many desires do we have, right? In corporeality, we only have 5 or 6 desires, right? We have necessities like our animate desires, which are food, family, and sex. The other desires, we have our social desires like money, respect, knowledge. Those are social desires. So those desires we also need to a certain degree to exist in life, don't we? So our corporeal framework is also necessary. So as we advance in spirituality, what we begin to clarify to ourselves is, well, from all the desires that I have, corporeal as well, what's relevant, what's necessary, and what is not necessary, so that I can put more effort to spirituality. Okay? Because I could be chasing, I don't know, fame, fortune, whatever. Okay, and those are desires. So if I have more than one desire, corporeal wise, I'm also probably not going to attain it all. A desire means I have only one desire. And if I go for that desire, that should be the one I should attain. If I want to be rich, if I want to be, I don't know, scientist or whatever, if I have a few desires, highly likely I won't get them done. If you have one strong desire, then you can get that desire. And that means I don't have any other desire. This is why very few people are rich, fewer people are powerful, even fewer people are scientists, and the masses are all nothing. Why? Because they want a little bit of everything. Okay? You want a little bit of everything, you get nothing. So all of us have desires related to corporeality. On top of that, we also have a dot in the heart, which is an aspiration to the spiritual, to the root, to our creator. And it's that specific desire we're focusing on. And everything else in corporeality, we take just enough to sustain what we define for ourselves as a normal life. Does that make sense?
Yes, but like you said something, maybe I misunderstood. You connecting all these corporeal desires to the spiritual one. Do we? Do we connect corporeal desires to that spiritual one? Is there any? No.
No. What we do you see, we can't escape corporeality. All right, so we can't close ourselves in some monastery. Okay, and we shouldn't have to, because we need to be connected with the whole of reality. So corporeality is something we need to survive in this body.
To survive. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we take what we need in order to have the kind of normal life we grew up with, what is normal for us. Okay. And we're okay with that. Okay. Some people might have more, some people might have less, but at the end of the day, a person should live a normal life, which he or she considers to be normal according to how they see the world. On top of that, we have a dot in the heart. The most important thing is that. So my corporeality is kind of supporting me to exist in order to realize the dot in the heart. Does that make sense? Okay, because if I don't have internet, if I'm hungry, starving, no job, nothing, and no internet, no lessons, okay, there's nothing to do.
Okay? Yeah, I understand all these extremes, but like sometimes you want a more free time, so it means you have to find this kind of job or more money, things like that. So how to, like, I still desire it just to have free time, let's say. It frees me, like gives me movement. Otherwise I'm like constrict. But knowing like Rabash was also was working, like was construction work or whatever he was, I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, what I supposed to do with all these desires? Is it like still egoistic considering?
If we just,
I want a more free time, I don't want to go every day to work. I want to work from home. But right now I'm unfortunate. I cannot do that. Like, I'm like, what am I supposed to do with these desires? It's egoistic. Do I have to suppress them?
You
what
don't
do
have to suppress the desire, but you have to be logical about it, right? You have to be logical about it. You have to, whenever you're working, I used to work in an office as well. I used to be an accountant, right? In Australia, chartered accountant, insolvency accountant. Then I also moved to work from home, changed my direction and so on. But in life, things open up as they become necessary, not because I want it so. Does that make sense? So if things open up and, because it's needed to be that way, or it's necessary to be that way, then things flow in that direction. How can that happen? It can only happen when you exhaust all the possibilities that you're in right now. If you don't exhaust everything, but say, oh, well, I just want more free time, it's not going to really happen. Because, yeah, you want free time, but on top of that, you're not missing out on any free time you have at the moment, and you're using it fully, and only then it becomes necessary for more free time. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I went through that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Sometimes you have free time and you don't do anything. I'm like, about spirituality. I'm like, okay, that's why you don't have it. So yeah, okay, I got it. Okay, so it's connected. Thank you.
Change only happens when you come to the last point that it's really necessary, that if it doesn't happen, I can't move forward.
It's like a prayer. I mean, it is a prayer.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like to the last point, like you cannot do anything by yourself. So
exactly. This is why in the article, exactly, he says this is why a person needs to turn to the creator after he's done everything. When it says, look, the creator knows when the measure is sufficient, when the kli is completed. So a person needs to really max it out, right? Give it the max in his or her current state, and then a new phase can only open up then. But you have to exhaust everything. All right. Excerpt number 5. This is from article number 19, Come on to Pharaoh number 1. One who understands that he needs the creator to give him a lot of help because he's worse than the rest of the people is more suitable for his prayer to be answered, as it is written, the Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. Therefore, one should not say that he is unfit for the creator to bring him closer, but that the reason is that he is idle in his work. Instead, one should always overcome and not let thoughts of despair enter his mind. As our sages said, even if a sharp sword is placed on his neck, he should not deny himself of mercy. All right, let's read it again. One who understands that he needs the creator to give him a lot of help because he is worse than the rest of the people is more suitable for his prayer to be answered, as it is written, the Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. So as you can see here, he's already exhausted everything. So he comes to an understanding that he really is a bad person, like really worse than the other people. This allows him to turn to the creator because he understands that his egoism, a lot of people are egoists, but they actually enjoy the fact that they're egoists because they get more from life. Here, though, he needs to understand that his egoism is causing him harm. So he sees his egoism as a bad thing, not just for himself, but for everyone. It's just bad for everyone. And he sees he can't do anything about it because it's a person's nature. So now he has to turn to the creator. But we must understand once again, we can only get to that when we really exhaust ourselves. So I need to give it my full effort. Therefore, one should not say that he is unfit for the creator to bring him closer, but that the reason is that he is idle in his work, right? And this is something we often don't come to terms with. A lot of friends always say, well, we're doing everything we can. Well, look, if we did everything we can or we could, we'd already be there. Okay, so there's obviously something missing. And we don't like to sit and contemplate on matters that, might be missing. Or maybe I'm exerting a lot of effort, but maybe I'm just working in the wrong place. Maybe I'm not exerting it in where I should be exerting. Okay? Maybe I'm doing a lot of dissemination, but I should really be focusing on the connection between us. Maybe. Okay. So there are a few things here where we need to clarify for ourselves what the right point of exertion is. And at that point, I see that I cannot overcome certain things. So, I've got to really aim at the right place when I'm exerting effort. And I'm not just running around like a little kid trying to do a bunch of things and not getting anywhere. Instead, one should always overcome and not let thoughts of despair enter his mind. So at the end of the day, if I see that I'm not getting a response from the creator, or I want to change things and I see that, I'm not changing, or I'm not getting this opening, then obviously there's something I need to sharpen in my work, or there's something I need to add, or maybe subtract, or maybe just take a step back and just think about what I should be doing and changing before doing anything. Okay. So we have to, this is a lot of work for a person to really sit down and think about what to do, how to do, why to do, and all that kind of stuff, and constantly make adjustments. It's a lot of work, but this is how we need to do it. And this is how we do things in corporeality as well. So we don't need to complain about it. Okay, in corporeality as well. If I want to get something done, I try to find ways of getting things done, ways to overcome the obstacles for me to realize what I want to realize. In corporeality, it's the same thing. So here we need to actually make that same thing. All right. And we shouldn't be despaired. Just like in corporeality, when I have a depiction of what my goal is, I'm inspired to go and work and do things in order to attain that. Our problem with spirituality is, first of all, it's against our nature. Second of all, we've got no clue or evidence to support what we're going to get. Okay, so it's all like out there and nothing is clear, right? But that's just how it is. That's just how it is. Okay. As our sages said, even if a sharp sword is placed on his neck, he should not deny himself of mercy. So in any case, we should rely on what the sages said. At the end of the day, you see, when Rabash is writing or other Kabbalists are writing to us, you can see that they've kind of gone through the same steps that we're going through. And this is really encouraging, because you understand that he's been there, done that, and this is what you've got to do and, be in. So it's encouraging for us to actually read this stuff. And it's really, we're really learning from experience of a master here. It's like a master and an apprentice, really. Excerpt number 6. For each innovation he had revealed to us in the Torah, which brought us elation and great confidence to dedicate our lives only for the sake of the Creator, there promptly came a hardening of the heart, as in, for I have hardened his heart. So we would later be able to make our own choice, as this is called labor without support. His intention was to bring us to the desired wholeness. Okay, let's read again. For each innovation he had revealed to us in the Torah, which brought us elation and great confidence to dedicate our lives only for the sake of the Creator, there promptly came a hardening of the heart. So with everything, with every advancement, I should get, right, logically, I should get some kind of a descent. I should get a descent. So, for example, we were at the Congress, right? It was a really good Congress. And because of that great Congress, what happened? Some friends got a descent. Okay, they start to slow down. You see they're missing stuff, all that kind of stuff. All of a sudden, you don't see them around. They're a bit heavy, no more smiles on the faces, and so on. So this is just a logical situation, because I'm now needing to go to the next step. In primary school, life or school doesn't get easy. We start with the easy stuff, which is hard for the child initially, okay? But year 2 is not going to get any easier, okay? Because now I have to add new stuff. And year 3, 4, 5, and you see the whole process. So as we grow up in life, the heaviness of life also acts on us in the same way. And this is exactly how we grow. So hardening of the heart on a periodic basis, if one is working hard and doing the right kind of exertion, is actually what should happen. As in, for I have hardened his heart, so we would later be able to make our own choices, as this is called labor without support. Also, if we didn't have the hardening of the heart, as you can see, we wouldn't have a free choice. if everything is great, would I have free choice? Everything is great. What do I have to choose? Okay, I can only make a decent decision and choice when I find myself in a conflicting, heavy state. Okay, so I feel heavy, and now I have to decide, do I want to move forward or do I want to step back? Okay, or go back to corporeality. Maybe I'll say to myself, you know what, the spirituality is too hard. It's just too hard. Just go do something else. Okay. Happens. But if we didn't have this hardening, you can't make a free choice. If life is always good, you're never going to make a choice. Okay, you're just going to walk around with a grin on your face all day. So life has to bring you down if you want to go to the next degree. That's just laws of nature. It's just how it is. His intention was to bring us to the desired wholeness. Okay, so in that case, all of us has to go through heaviness of the heart. We all need to move through those things, and we just need to persist. One of the great advices I heard from Rav when I came was, when people ask questions, he used to say, you just keep going. Just carry on going. That's it. Okay, because it's life, the same thing with life. Okay, when hard things come to us in life, well, we just have to go through them, don't we? Just have to mourn through that. Okay, and that's it. Nothing more to do. So here, patience and persistence, perseverance, those are the things that are really key to a person. And when we're doing more and more, we come to that certain, level where, you just cry out. There's just nothing else you can do. And that's a real need for the Creator. And without a need for the Creator never reveals himself. Okay? So this is why we need to really exhaust ourselves without despair. Okay, without despair. All right, how are we doing? Patty's asking a question. It seems the harder I try, I end up feeling despair. How can we not let despair come to our mind? Well, I don't know if I can not let despair come to my mind, because, every now and then it probably will come, but it should come to us when we're working hard. Okay, so we do work, and then we see we don't get results, and then we feel despair. But I think what we need to do is change the way we look at the way we do things, okay? Because coming to despair is like, well, I've done my work, where's my payment? Okay, and if I don't see my paycheck, I'm like, well, despair, who's going to pay the rent? Okay, so if I'm just comparing it to corporeality, right? Okay, so, but with the Creator, we can't really do that, because if I want to bestow to the Creator, I shouldn't really even be asking when things are going to happen. Okay, I should just want to bestow. And if I want to bestow, I should just see the things that stop me from bestowing and loving others. And for those things, I should ask the Creator for help. Okay. But whether he helps or not, I don't dictate that to him, because that's also egoistic. Okay. So there's a right time for everything. We have a nice proverb in Turkish: a flower won't blossom before its time. So at the end of the day, we need to go through all the phases and stages, so that, we'll come to a point where the rain will come, the sun will come, and then that flower will just pop up from the ground. Okay, and that's how it needs to be. So also, being in despair doesn't really solve any of our problems. Okay, so if I understand that despair is not going to solve my problem, I should intellectually, right, logically say to myself, well, there's no need to waste time being despaired. Okay, so there are a few ways we can actually elevate ourselves with some understanding. Now, first of all, it's not worth it, because it's not going to work. Okay. Second of all, I just need to do the work and come to the correct prayer. Okay. And despair is actually, there is a point of despair when it brings you to a cry, but that despair is not because the creator is not helping. It's because of everything I've done and can't find anything else to do. But that despair should bring me to a prayer. It shouldn't leave me in despair. Do you understand what I mean? Okay. Because when you're stuck in despair, you're like stuck in a swamp. Okay. So after doing everything to change myself, I realize I can't change myself. Okay. Then that despair should bring me to a prayer. Okay. This is why we shouldn't get stuck in despair. All right. So out of basically my own strength, I should come to despair, which should bring me to a prayer. But never, I should never ever think and despair that the creator is not helping me. Because first of all, I don't know if he's not helping me or not. Well, I don't know. He's not around, is he? Okay, so I don't know. But maybe if I did see him, maybe I'd see that he's helping me in every way. Okay. Kids don't often understand that we're helping them. Okay? They don't understand that we're helping them. We're also helping them by not giving them things as well. We're not just helping kids by giving them things, but we're also helping them by not giving them things too, because it could be dangerous for them, right? So same with the creator here. We've got to think, well, maybe it's not the right time. So I just need to keep working, growing up, add a bit here, add a bit there, maybe sharpen up my work a little bit and so on. Okay. So we have to put a little from the work, from the articles that we're studying, we have to like kind of bring a bit more, bring a bit more mental work over the things we're going through from what's written from experience. Okay, so the Kabbalists are writing to us through the experience they went through. And as I'm going through stuff, I'm now using their experience in my work. Okay, and if we do that, we should also actually be rather calm in the work as well. Sometimes we get a lot of people, well, we get some people, they get all excited and they're going through some manic stuff and so on. But yeah, okay, so, right, yeah. So, but the more we read, okay, when we read stuff and then we go through things and then we relate what we've learned to what we're going through, it should also bring us some understanding. We should calm us down. Okay, because we're going up and down a lot sometimes. It's because we can't really reconcile the mind and the feeling. Okay, so if we read the articles, then even if I'm going through emotional stuff which I can't really pinpoint from the articles, I understand this is at the moment how it should be, and that's also an understanding which now allows me to put my next foot forward. You know what I mean? This is why the lessons are really important. And this is why we study every morning, right? So we can get some insight, whatever we can from these articles and texts, so that we can actually use them when we're going through ups and downs to stay on the path. And if we don't, we'll slip through the cracks. Okay. All right, let's take one question from Irina and call it a night.
Real quick. So when you're in despair, as I understood, you just have to go to that side with the mind working, like knowledge of sages, thinking what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So basically you're in that left line where you're using your mind.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's describe despair like this. There are two types of despair, where I'm working and asking from the creator for the things that I want in the work, okay, and the creator is not giving it and I'm despaired. Okay, in that despair we should not be in.
Yeah,
because by doing so I'm telling the creator what to do and when he should do it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that we don't want to be in. All right. The other despair is I've done everything I could. I've really exhausted myself. So I've come to despair from my own strength. Okay. But I'm not complaining about what the Creator is doing. It's despair from my own effort. Okay. That should bring me to a prayer. That despair is not a negative thing, because if I can truly say I've exhausted everything and I really want to move to the next step, then I should come to a prayer. Then it should click. Okay. Then I should get some force to move forward again. Okay. So those are the two types of despairs we want to be, like, we want to understand and differentiate. Okay. Until I get to despair, I'm using all of the intellectual faculties that I've got.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the period I probably ask for.
Yeah.
I understand we're getting to the prayer, but meanwhile, roughly, what do I do? Like, you're like panicking. Oh my God, I'm there. What am I gonna do? But like you said, you do your mind work, understand the sages. They told you, just believe them, and do analyzing what's going on, like what did you do wrong, until you get to the point, oh, I cannot do anything. So that's the prayer.
Exactly. Okay. I have to, from the articles, I have to extract mentally what I need to do. Okay. Then I do them. And as I do them, or after I've done them, then I should have an emotional new phase, because exactly. So I should, like, they told me to do something in order to advance. So I do them. Okay. Once I've done them, inside of me, I get emotional feedback. Okay. That emotional feedback is once again for me to evaluate where I'm at and what I should do next, and so on. So, for example, when we're studying Rabash's social articles, he talks a lot about how to treat the friends. Okay. So, we come to the group. So he tells us how we should, relate to the friends, what our attitude should be among us and how we should behave among us. Okay. So we take that advice and we start doing it as much as we understand. Okay. Intellectually, as much as I understand, I do. And from doing, I get emotional feedback. Then this allows me to evaluate the situation and then do again. Okay, so then I'm kind of like one step at a time. I'm like one foot in front of the other all the time. Left, right, left, right, left, whatever.
So basically, with doing this work, it's like little prayers. It's not that despair prayer. Sometimes you can even get through that without that, because some people jumping right into the prayer and they see it's no answer, probably because they didn't do anything, including me.
Or they didn't do enough.
Okay.
Or they didn't do the right things enough times.
Exactly. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Right. It's okay is asking, is that it? It's okay. Yes, it's okay is last question there we got. When we're in the state of hardening of the heart, how can we manage to aim ourselves in the direction of bestowal to friends? Well, first of all, if I'm in a heavy state, it's hard for me to aim to bestow because I'm already I'm in a descent. Okay. So what can I do? I can, first of all, what I need to do, I need to maintain my study framework. Okay. And I need to somehow get out of that descent. But in order to get out of the descent, I need to have connection with the friends so they can help me out. Okay. Because if I'm going through a rough time, what do we do in corporate reality, right? We've got family and friends who can support us, who can help us out, give us a bit of morale, and we take the next step forward. In spirituality, it's pretty much the same thing. If I'm going through a descent, I'm going to need my friends around me to connect so I got something to inspire towards, and I've got some motivation as well. So we can't really move forward at all if we don't have a right environment where when I'm in a descent, I also have the opportunity to be uplifted. Right. And then I can move towards bestowal. Another good thing, what you can do, if you want to stay on track, is take responsibilities in the group. Right. For example, like we always do something in dissemination because it allows us to go through states of ascents or descents So we don't really care what we go through if we have some kind of a role in dissemination, or we've got a role or responsibility in the group. Why? Because I have to come and do it. So whether I'm in a descent or not, I don't care. Okay, I have to come and do the job. It's like going to work, right? It's like mornings, you wake up and you say, well, I don't want to go to work, but you get up and you go to work. Okay, and this is what responsibility in the group really helps. This is how it helps. So then I have to say, well, I've got friends, they expect me to be there, I've got a responsibility for them, and so on. So I drag my feet along and do it. And eventually that also helps a lot. I find that me, for myself personally, having a responsibility in the group really helps a lot. Because if I do fall into a descent, I don't have time to think about my descents. I've got so much on my plate, I don't have time to think about my descents. Okay, and that helps a lot. Okay, and you can move through things really quickly. Then you're in a descent momentarily. It comes, bang, well, okay, what can you do? Let's move forward. Is there a choice to overcome the heaviness, or only through prayer? There's always a choice in the environment. The environment is our only choice. If I choose a spiritual environment, and if the group is working nicely, correctly, we should always be giving each other a good, good elevated state where everybody's got some aspiration and the strength to move forward. Sometimes the problem is, unfortunately, in the tens, we don't give each other the right amount of support, the good mood. We don't give each other the good, we don't give each other that goodness that we need to do in order to really give the friends an uplifted mood and spirit. And that's really lacking in some groups. But hopefully, we'll get over it and move forward. Because without a good team, you're not going to be a winner in this game. It's just not possible. Okay, you really have to have a good team on your side. And prayer always helps. In any situation, we can always turn to the Creator, even though it might be childish, right? Because sometimes you're going through such a state, you don't have the mental faculties or the intellectual faculties to do anything. You just like scream out, okay, like a kid. And that's also okay. It's also okay. No problem. The important thing, though, is just to go through the process of spiritual growth and development day by day, and and not fall off the bandwagon, as they say. Rightio. All right, we're going to love you and leave you, and hopefully we'll see you guys next Tuesday. All right, have a good evening, good day, depending where you are. All the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you.